the new intro song for the Butterfly Room. So let me know what you like, if you like it. All right, Mark.
Here to bring in Toya. Toya is an amazing host that we have here and all along those lines. And I know she's got some amazing guests that she's going to share with us and all in that space. So we're definitely looking forward to hearing what she's got on this wonderful show and all in that way. So I'm here to step out of the side and let her bring in her amazing guests, including this new show that she's got in the sense of what she's got going on with her folks that will be bringing in regular guests and all along those lines. And of course, Dr. Diamond will be joining us and some others as well. But I'm going to step aside, turn it over to Toya because she's got some words of inspiration for y'all and, of course, an amazing guest as well.
Hello again. So now today, I guess we're gonna keep it moving. But today we are pleased to introduce Gerard Van Dyke, known as JV, and he has a short called Just Vibing. But just to let you know about that, but Mark, bring the friends in first because we want to see everyone before I introduce this guest. Hello, we have Madam Butterfly, Brenda Walker Holman. Good evening.
Good
And we also
evening.
have Dr. Diamond. When I tell you on the couch, you got to check us out every other Saturday, 11 a.m. Keep us going.
Yes.
You're going to see
Yes.
us and hear us every week so you can join this movement of healing and inspiration for the Black and Brown communities.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes. And then we have our guest, Mark.
Oh, can't hear Mark. Okay.
We got the guest as well. We got the guest as well, and I'm glad to bring him in. He sounds like an amazing gentleman. I'm looking forward to hearing about his story and what he's got going on. I know that Dr. Diamond and you have a tremendous amount of knowledge and are great inspirational ladies, but y'all also have friends that are inspirational gentlemen as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to meeting this gentleman and hearing what he's all about. And all along those lines, I'm going to bring him in. Apparently, he's a fellow person in that New Jersey, New York area, but I'm sure he'll tell us his story. Y'all know I'm over here in North Carolina and everything like that, but definitely looking forward to hearing about this gentleman. So waiting to hear what he's got to say about his life story. So I'll bring him on now if you like and all in that way.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good
What's
evening,
up,
everybody.
JV?
Progress in the process.
Yes.
Hello,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good
Thank you so much.
evening.
But without further ado, I want to just give you an intro before we want you to speak, before you share what your testimony and how you got here today. But I know that you began your journey in 2002, and it says you recorded your first song, I Can Tell, under the SoundCloud handle JV Van Dyke 19. You are very creative, multi hyphenetic gospel rapper, ghostwriter, entrepreneur, and motivational figure. His lyric pen spans clubs, R&B, and inspiration genres, but his heart now beats to a higher calling. After cultivating a real and personal relationship with God, JV shifted from secular sounds to spiritual substance. He's going to tell us all about that. But outside of his music, he is a father, a day trader, and the owner of Just Vibing Collection, a custom sunglass line that merges fashion with faith. So without further ado, we're going to introduce JV to the Butterfly Room. Thank you.
Sir. Yep. Good evening, everybody. Again, man. When I throw this up, I know some people think it's like some, some gang sign stuff. No, but this is JV. Just like when people throw up they heart me. So when y'all see me throw up that just means all love. It really does. You see the J and the V right there. And God just brought everything and is bringing everything together better than I expect. I've just been striving for a long time, and God knows I'm willing. And I just keep him at the forefront of everything I got going on. And he always shows up on time, and not on my time, but on God's perfect time. And that's a real thing. That some people let go over their head. God is always on time. I did not understand it. Growing up and through my walk, but I understand it deeply now. So all glory to Father God in heaven.
Yes, thank you so much. And just to let you know how the connection started, we grew up we grew up in our neighborhood, and I knew his parents and the mother and the father. So that's why this is something that I feel it was designed. So when we were at the watch night service yesterday, and I said, I know I have something to do. I have a pre-recorded show, and based on his testimony for 2025, the spirit moved me to go and speak to him. He said, Toya, I'm never free, but I'm free tomorrow. I said, well, I know I want you on the show. He said, well, I could come today. So I said, you know what? Thank you so much that we're able to accept the calling. And today's show topic is your life assignment. So I thought it was befitting because today I'm going to be unfolding the theme music. It was gifted to me by a family friend. So it's something that's forthcoming. So we're going to introduce this song. And then also, I believe, JV, you're going to brace us with some words, some lines as well, some bars, right? You said?
Yeah, I have I do have a few short pieces that I'll drop. You know, I post mostly on TikTok, and I throw a video here and there on other platforms, but mostly on TikTok. So yes, I will drop 2 pieces for you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Without further ado, come on, Mark. You want to introduce the theme music for the Butterfly Room?
Get off mute and everything like that. This is the theme music we'll be using for the Butterfly Room on a regular basis and all along those lines and everything like that. So it's a long song, and usually when we play it, it'll probably be about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. But definitely folks will get the message of what it's all about and how you're hoping that people understand that they can metamorphosize into a better version of themselves, because that's what butterflies do. They start off with caterpillars and they become those beautiful butterflies that we all know, and all along those lines. And sometimes even caterpillars can go through crisis and all in that line. So this is a song that your friend put together. So let's check out at least a minute or two of it, and then we'll be back with this discussion with this amazing guest that you brought to us as well. So let's check this out.
You found a quiet corner of your mind, a shelf where all the broken things were piled. The stories told in whispers and in scars brought you here beneath these waiting stars. Not for a fix or just to soothe the ache, but for the chance that something new could break. So let the silence hold you like a seam where every thread of hope begins to gleam. This is the in-between. Welcome to the Butterfly Room, where healing's not an end, it is a tune. You learn to hum and gentle afternoons. Transformation blooms from a cocoon of questions you'll be led to see the colors waiting in the thread. Welcome to the Butterfly Room. We'll hold the lens up to the hidden part, the dormant art that's beating in your heart. We'll map the change, the subtle steady turn, the lessons that the aftermath can learn.
Thank you. So you got where this is. This is going to be a movement. This is my life's work. And again, today's subject is your life assignment. And again, all respect to these two ladies, everyone on this call today that is a guest. Teamwork makes the dream work. And I just know that we have to water one another. And sometimes we don't take the risk. But when you learn to listen to your inner voice, which is my higher power, you will really see. And then once those things are accepted, then you can really execute your life assignment. So today I felt this works. It was the opening of the theme music, which the person who created that for me, it blessed my heart. He watched the show, knows my story, knows my family, and came up with that. So I just know that I am a cycle breaker. And part of this, we have a licensed professional here. And one of the things with your life assignment is sometimes you have to accept what's given to you, your reality versus your circumstances. And as Jawar is going to share, But first, before we go into sharing, I just want to say happy 2026. So if you guys want to share, you can start. Dr. Diamond, we're going to start with you today because, hey, you gave me the wings, to start. And then now we have Madam Butterfly when all these things happen. So I, again, love you, ladies.
Well, thank you so much for including me on your show, The Butterfly Room. And I just wish you much success, because I think that's important from one sister to the other, that we carry each other.
Yes.
You don't always get that all the time, but I'm one of those genuine persons that say, you know what, if I could go forward, I'm going to take my sister with me. So when I invited you on the couch, I know that you were embarking on something bigger than, of course, my show, but you needed to step in first to get that courage up to say, I can do this. So I'm glad that you managed to do it and you are where you are now. And in 2026, I think we all going to have or reach a lot of our goals that we have set for ourselves, because I have my own as well. But I am, proud of you. So you keep doing what you're doing, and I'm here to support you.
And thank you. And I'm not leaving on the couch because I'm part of the friends over there. And as we say, we get in where we can fit in, right? So thank you, my sister, because you let me know what I don't want to say bleeding out, but I just know as a mental health professional working in the groups, what works. And when you live it and you see it, now I understand what the consumers in the mental health field who I serve and been working for 26 years. This is what they need, but sometimes folks don't have the insurance. So that's what I'm thinking. If I've been working for different agencies, there needs to be something that's more reachable. So that's really what the goal of this room is. Thank you, my sister. Madam Butterfly.
She might
You're on mute.
Yep. Let's see if I can get her off mute.
Thanks. And then I think I put myself back on mute.
Yeah. You're off mute now.
Oh, okay. Because I hear the theme music and I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me in the very beginning.
Yes.
All I can say is that we have a saying in the organization that we're in, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding, in all ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Not shall, but he will direct your path. And Dr. Diamond, thank you, because so many times in our lives as women, we have friends, but they'll leave us behind. They're not like the Marines. They will leave us behind and not take us on the journey. And the journey gets a little bit easier if you're traveling with somebody else. So before 3-4 years ago, I never even knew who Miss Toya was. And I thank God for the introduction. And we going in this year. I too have a list of things, changes that are going to propel me forward.
Yes, thank you. And Mark, I said the producer who knows stuff, and then sometimes you can't catch him. I'm like, I have to learn to trust, because I have abandonment issues, and he won't answer. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then Dr. Diamond came through. I said, but that I had to keep pushing. So for folks, I tell you, this is our 3rd show. And so now we're here. So thank you for your compassion for this service in this field.
Oh, no problem. Like I've told you before, I know people that are in the field that both you and Dr. Diamond and others are in as well, because my brother has worked with at-risk youth for a number of years. As a matter of fact, he went back the day after Christmas to go back to work on that particular Friday and everything like that. So definitely I know folks in the field, and I have faith in, have a certain empathy and connection to people. And ever since first meeting you, Toya, and even Dr. Diamond, who I met through her husband, and all along those lines, I know like-minded individuals that are also fellow empaths and that are going to go very far and everything like that. A friend of mine talks about light warriors and the number of light warriors that are out there. And even though 2025 might have been a difficult year in some ways, I do feel that 2026 will be a great year for all of us individually, as well as for our friend and family circle and all along those lines and everything like that. So I'm already claiming that for 2026, because we know 2025 had some roughness, and even some of the forces of that roughness are still out there. But I figure if you don't let them claim the negativity, then they can't have the negativity. So I believe that we can all put that positive nature out there and create and make a positive 2026. Just to let y'all know, I was talking to my dad earlier today, and he was saying that he was very moved by Mom Donnie's inauguration there in New York, because apparently he was having a very positive inauguration, unlike some other inaugurations that have been held in the past. But it was almost like an Obama type thing there in New York City. And even though I'm in North Carolina, and even though he was at the coast of North Carolina with his lady love and some other family members, they all enjoyed it, and he thought it was a positive sign of what 2026 can look like, and even sent me some wishes about prosperity and wealth and achievement in this year. And if there are things we want to go for them. And that's what you're doing here on this platform. So I think that that's what we need to do in 2026. If you had those dreams and visions, go for them. And I'll just end on this note. A friend of mine who is a poet in North Carolina, he put on his Facebook post, give me your ideas of things that you would like to see created in this area, meaning North Carolina, for the year 2026. I'm hoping many people have either written down their goals or have serious goals, or if they don't have goals, that they might get other people to give them inspirations so they can create a very positive nature. I think I mentioned one time on Dr. Diamond's husband's show that I thought we were in the middle of a new renaissance, kind of like the Harlem Renaissance, and that was a few years back and everything. And I think we're in the thrust of that right now. So I think that we're in the middle of a serious renaissance, and a lot of that has to do with the podcasting world.
Yes, I think so too, because now it makes it attainable, because before there was a ceiling of what folks can make. But now when you think when the world of advertisement, and I just have watched that, I'm a visual person, to just to see the movement of a commercial, that now, because it can be paid, you can pay for different commercials through different streaming services, it makes wealth more attainable. It's just that we have to learn how to do it. And now I'm just watching, and like I said, Dr. Diamond was explaining, I said, they show you what you're professional for, you're learning. But sometimes you just can't share all of that because people will watch, but it's a good thing. So it doesn't matter as long as you touch one. And that's just as being a mentor and working with at-risk youth, working with individuals. Now I understand why some folks who have PhDs have walked away, they snapped. And from there, they need someone that understands those things. It's just that due to economic changes, as you know, with the reduction of SNAP, folks didn't have it. So now when you go in there, you have a lot of streaming services, YouTube, et cetera, but you want to make sure the information is really watering you in the correct way. So as we see in the different shows, we'll find you. Because even now it's telling me they're extending my reach. I said, wow, you have good content. So I'm learning a lot. And it's a shame that the kids that's in their 20s, they know more than us. So I said, okay, let me ask a question. So Jamar, I know you're going to figure it out. So, tell us, now it's all about you. Tell us your story, however you want to unfold it. Because again, I said that I know your family of origin, and see you bloom and see you mature. And you're going to take what you love, music, and you changed it into a biblical form. So here, introduce JV to the Butterfly Room and its watchers.
Okay. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all having me. First and foremost, I want to say, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the team for being able to come together and hold such a dope platform. There was definitely a point in my life where I was trying to do things my way and do things by myself. And then, God just brought things together. Some people use the term divine helpers, or, you're just your divine family. I'm not sure if that's in the Bible, but, there's something that resonates with me. God bringing the right people, around you to where you can build correctly, So, just something that I know, and there's a few things that you guys are going to hear me say consistently, but it's things that I stand on because they mean something to me. you know, and one of those things is progress is a process. You know, I've been striving for a long time. I've been being stick-to-itive, as you all should be, being stick-to-itive, which means to stick to the plan and do the things that are necessary, do the things that are conducive to bringing that plan into fruition, not just our plan, but you know, God's overall plan in our life, you know. And then in the Bible, it says your gift will make room for you. And something that I've been saying is, yes, your gift will make room for you, but you got to keep your foot on your gift's neck, whatever that neck is in your life, and don't let that go over your head, you know. And then you know, something else that I know also, you know, these are just things that I'm dropping before, you know, I give, you know, part of my testimony. I'm not going to hold you guys too long. That motivation is not permanent. You know, sometimes you got to jumpstart motivation, and the way you do that is just by taking the small steps. You know, the compound effect is a real thing. You know, I didn't really understand what the compound effect really was until I really got into the stock market and how you can apply that to life. You know, especially when it comes to goals and visions and dreams and things like that. You know, taking the small steps on top of the small steps helps you get to where you're going. So, you know, and then in between that, like I said, the motivation part is not permanent. So you gotta, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, push yourself and just walk this thing out daily, strive, you know, and, you know, God knows I'm willing. And, you know, I've been striving for a long time. I'm far from perfect, but God is perfecting a thing, not just in myself, but in all of you guys. You know what I mean? God is perfecting a thing all the way to the end till he calls us home, you know? So, yeah, so I've just been walking it out for a long time. And, you know, like I said, I'm far from perfect. I got a lot of baggage, but God has made me new, and God has showed me how to steward my baggage correctly. You know what I mean? If y'all understand what I'm saying, you know, yeah, he just showed me how to steward it. And yeah, I just been walking it out for a long time. And I'm one of those people that I had to learn literally everything that I got going on. I had to learn hands-on, even though I seen both of my parents go through things, everything that I put myself through, I still, even though I seen my parents go through these situations and struggle, I still literally had to go through these same situations and learn that way. But I do know that God will, he will let you be dragged through the mud in front, you know, let you be dragged through the mud and be looking crazy out here in front of the people that you love the most and care about the most and the people that you want to please the most. But it's because he trusts that when he pulls you up out of that thing, that you are going to give him all of the glory, you know? So, yeah, like I said, God knows I'm willing. I've been walking this thing out for a long time, and, you know, here we are. And I'm grateful for where I'm at. Everything that I'm doing today, everything I got going on today are things that I prayed about years ago. But at the time that I prayed for these things, God just knew I wasn't ready. He knew I wasn't able to steward these things that I prayed for. So if I would have received the things that I got now back at the time where I had a whole bunch of bad habits, and like I said, I'm far from perfect. But if I would have received the blessings that I got going on now back in the time where, you know, I was still running in cycles and doing, you know, a whole bunch of things that I shouldn't have been doing, it definitely 100%, you know, I would have lost these blessings, or it could have went even worse than that. It could have taken me up out of here. And for example, you know, I had a whole bunch of bad habits that we're not going to go into. So say if God would have blessed me with the finances that I'm walking into today, back then I would have used those finances on those bad habits, and it would have took me up out of here. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying without going too much, you know, try to keep everything, you know, clean. So yeah, man, you know, I'm just grateful for where I'm at. And you know, like I said, I've been walking it out for a long time, and here we are. Shout out to you guys.
Yes, thank you. And you said, it says, what's the topic? Your life assignment. So basically, what we just heard you say, your life assignment is manifesting. And now I know you said in your testimony yesterday, you were like, I get angry. But the point is, as Dr. Diamond on her show, she said that little gremlin was saying if people cutting you off and you're a new truck driver and you had to stop yourself. That's anger management. You know, I've taught anger management to parolees, probationers, and it's just sometimes folks don't understand that. It's a group process, and that's what this is. We're giving you tools, and now this, based on what you're saying, aligns with what this show is about. And I'm just saying that's just God speaking. He's speaking. And, you know, what was it? The Habakkuk 2:3 is for write the vision, make it plain. That's what we talked
Yep,
about
yep, yep.
yesterday in our outgoing message to open up 2026, the year of manifestation. Because right now, we all have dreams. And this was a dream of mine. Again, I wanted to be an actress. And I laugh because in the Black and brown community, some of those dreams that we have, we may not have the resources. But here, everyone here had a dream, and look where we are. And again, you want to bless us with a piece right now?
Yes, yes, yeah, I got you. But just real quick, there's a saying that said that it said, "Tell God your plans, and He gonna laugh at you." And it's just crazy because God is going to work out things His way, 100%. And I'm happy for it. God is always on time and not on my time. That's, like I said, that's a real thing. So, here we are. So yeah, hopefully y'all can hear this beat pretty good. I got two pieces queued up, but I'll do one right now. So I ain't gotta hold you guys too long. Can y'all hear this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Beauty for ashes, out the water sins they clean. I'm on repentance daily, talking to God. So what you mean? Living dreams, things I see, remove the bad in between. Got them angels on my team, get the cash cause the cream. Like a lion, he roar and try to devour. Let you know that name of Jesus, yes, it's filled with power. Trembling snake and serpent, making me walk in purpose. All of the time I spent walking it out, it always worth it, Pain and hurt and death is hurting, demons twerking. So I told God to take the wheel, corner swerving, no. Numb the life, couldn't feel none of my nerves. Serving God, I was blind, He gave me purpose. So I gave my all, heard my call, knees I fall, whoa. Stand up tall, cook my ball, water wall, so. Don't recall, I won't stall, took my time, no. Like a baby, learn to crawl, soul and star. I said, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. I was stuck up in the back, well, God, I moved to the front. I said, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. I was stuck up in the back, well, God, I moved to the front. I said, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. I was stuck up in the back, well, God, I moved to the front. I said, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. I was stuck up in the back, well, God, I moved to the front. Whoa.
Thank you. Okay, friends, what y'all have from JV?
Yeah, that's just one, right? That's just one of the many pieces that I got, for right now. And I'll explain that.
Yeah, I was real tight. I got friends in the hip hop game and in the other forms of music, whether it's jazz or blues or a number of other things. But yeah, that was tight. I like the beat and also like the where the lyrics were going and everything along those lines. So no, that was a real tight piece, and I can definitely see where that could go in a lot of great realms and everything like that. I did have a quick question that was partially about the music, but also share a little bit about a friend of mine that I actually ran into earlier, and you kind of alluded to it in your own life story. But you talked about that baggage, and even in the baggage situation, how much of that baggage do you use as a motivational force, and how do you use it as a motivational force? Because I know a good friend of mine, he goes by the name of Poetic Mike, and I just saw him earlier today at a Kwanzaa celebration. He was actually in prison for actually, I think he might have been either on death row or on life imprisonment because he was convicted of manslaughter and everything like that. But he's been out for a number of decades and is doing a lot of work in terms of reaching out to the youth. And he uses some of that negative energy that he had in the past and along those lines. So I do know that there are people that have done that, and he's only one example that I know of down here in North Carolina, people that might have made a wrong turn in life, but then turned it back in the positive direction in that positive manifestation. Yeah. So I was just wondering how you use your own experiences in your music and in your life.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what a testimony is. And, your testimony, it comes together, not just for yourself, but it comes together for you to share your testimony for people that are still, that may be going through the things that you are going through. It gives them encouragement, and through my music, I'm just able to, verbalize it and articulate it the best way that I can, or the way that God wants me to. But yeah, that's mainly the vision for me, is to let people know that regardless of your background, regardless of your baggage, God will pull you up out that pit. you know, and it says from the pit to the palace. You know, you just got to be willing. And that does not mean that it's going to be all a cakewalk. No. But, you know, long as God knows you're willing, and, you know, he knows your heart and your intentions are in the correct place, God got you. And yeah, that's basically it for me. You know, I just want people to know that there is truly hope through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's really it, man. You know, I'm if this is a thing, you know, I'm a new living witness to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you know, I just want people to know that yes, there's just truly hope, you know, through him. And you know, God has truly, you know, made my heart new, softened my heart. And I feel like I can resonate with a lot of people, you know, with a lot of people that have been or going through, you know, a lot of situations where they may think that nothing can get better. You know, I was literally at a point in life. I promise you, man, I was literally at a point in life where I did not see a way out. Only way I could see my way out was dying in my addictions, literally. And in that instant, man, God knew that I was at the end of myself. I was literally at the end of myself. There was nothing. I know you guys heard that before. Coming to the end of yourself, man. I literally came to the end of myself, and in that instant where I seen no way out, God came and literally visited me. Like, some people don't believe the story that I say, man. God literally came, angel through the window while I'm laying in the bed, sun rising, tears flowing, and grabbed my heart. And in an instant, just like that, in a twinkling of an eye, this is no lie, twinkling of an eye, I started seeing colors vibrantly. I got my ambition back. I had this overwhelming feeling that I just never wanted to go. And, you know, just from that day, I just knew that there was a way out. But like I said, that did not mean it was easy, and it hasn't been easy. And I don't expect it to be easy. And I'm cool with all of my trials and my tribulations. I count it all joy now. And even to this day, the trials and tribulations, I count them all as joy, because they are making me into the man that I'm destined to be. And the past trials and tribulations, you know, have made me into the man that I am today. And, you know, I'm here, man. I'm walking it out, and Father God in heaven gets the glory. So, you know, we striving daily.
Thank you so much. Dr. Diamond, you're the professional on this call, and I know that you've heard a lot in your practice, and I know you have something for JV, because he put it all out here, and I'm just feeling this and knowing that this was definitely designed for today.
Yeah, actually I was gonna get ready to ask him a question, but that's good. You just kind of put me right there on second base. I'm on it.
No, do whatever you want to do, my love. Yes. You can do both, because yes.
So, as you talk about transformation, you know, we all do that. Like, we do that on an everyday basis, but we have to identify that we got to transfer or transform, because you got to connect to it. Like you said, you had that angel come to you through God to say, okay, it's your time. It's your time to transform. It's your time to move forward and trust in the Lord to know that you can move forward, because we can have fear. And I was talking about that on my show, about how fear can keep you back from excelling and moving forward. But sometimes you need that hand to guide you forward. And you got that. So that was great. And I hope that the listeners, when they come back and they hear this, that they heard how that actually happened to you. And here's the thing, JV, they can believe it or not, but it's your experience. And you just sharing the enlightenment that you went through. And if they don't understand that, that's okay. But at the end of the day, you know what your experience is, and you know why you went from one level to the next level. And you didn't do it by yourself, but you had the guidance. Yes. You went and you used it. So now my question for you today, though, is about how did your personal relationship with God reshape not just your music, but your identity as an artist?
Okay. Yes, great question. So, you know, first I want to say that the biggest dream killer in the world is caring what other people think. And that, you know, I hope you understand what I'm saying. You know, I resonate with that deeply. The biggest dream killer in the world is caring what other people think, because that will stop you from being your true self. and that goes under the lines of what you just asked. You know, the fear, you know, the fear. And, you know, I dealt with a lot of anxiety and mental health and mental issues, but I didn't claim any of it. I didn't claim any of it, regardless of what a doctor or, you know, just anybody has said, you know, and that's not to belittle, you know, any of their knowledge, but, you know, I know that the ultimate doctor is my Father God in heaven. And, you know, just I everything that I do nowadays is none of me, but all of God, you know, and I give him glory through everything. And I don't want to seem too holy on here, but I got to give my Father God some glory, because I'm telling you, man, you know, God is so real. He is powerful, all knowing, omnipotent, omniscient, you know, and all of those omni words, you know. So, but yes, through, you know, just God did it. If that answers your question, I just gave it all over to God. I gave him my will. I wrote the vision and make it plain. I wrote the vision a few times, and the vision sometimes it gets rearranged. But I'm just following his direction, trying my best to be obedient. I am far from perfect. You know, God don't want to hear that excuse that I'm just a man. Father God, no, yeah, he knows that I'm just a man, but sometimes you got to get a little stronger than using that excuse. You know, but I'm far from perfect. I try my best to be obedient, and, you know, just try to do the next best thing. And, you know, just keeping God at the forefront of everything. And, you know, I'm letting him lead the way, you know, and I've learned through my daily that, you know, it is imperative, for one, that we're in the land of the living, that we speaking life into life, you know what I mean? Speaking life into ourselves, speaking life into other people, you know, praying over everything. Literally everything, praying over your vehicles, praying over your children, praying over your steps directed, the atmosphere to be shifted in the room, the divine favor, just everything, you know. And I literally give it all to him. And even through the things that I have fear about and that I have anxiety about, once I go through them and I get through it and it turned out better than I expect, I'm like, oh my goodness, Father God, like, man, it's just crazy, man. Like, just how you come through for me through everything. So I would like for fear to be a thing of the past, but I guess that's normal, you know. So I just let God, you know, just do his thing, and he just knows that I'm willing, regardless of how my flesh might tell me that it might turn out. God always come through and lets it turn out better than I expect. Even with this, with you guys' dope platform, the Butterfly Room. What did you say yours was? The couch.
On the couch.
What was
yes.
On the couch? Miss Brenda, I'm not sure if you have a platform. You know, all of these, Mr. Mark, all of y'all, you know, anything that I got going on, you know, I pray about it before I go on there. You know, to be able to articulate myself correctly and get the message out, not just my message, but what God wants people to hear. That's gonna resonate. So, you know, yeah, that's about it right there. So I hope I answered that okay for you.
You did. So I'm gonna come back again about the youth, right? Because we have youth behind us. Each generation, we do have responsibility to them because they watch us, and the ones before us had a responsibility. So I'll use myself an example. During my educational journey, when I was on my way to college, the first thing my aunt told me was, that's nice, you're going to college. I went to college, but this is the goal and expectations I have for you. I have a master's degree, so you know what you have to get. I was like, wow, that, you know, I didn't even do the bachelor's yet, you know. So now, you know, not fear setting, but the anxiety was like, oh, you know, I gotta get up and I gotta do this stuff. But guess what? Life began to happen. And, you know, you have setbacks, but then you find your way through. And that's what I ended up doing. So now I want you to think about that and even your narrative for the young people behind us. So how do you inspire them and also keep them connected to God? Because not a lot of them, and I'm not saying that they're not believers, but it's not attractive. You know, they're not attracted to it as they should be. Because when we were growing up, we did go to church. Like my grandmother didn't play that role like that. You know, you going. There's no yes, no, I sleep in. No, you getting up. There's no choice there. However, the youth today are so different, and everything is electronically inclined. Like they pick up their phone and everything is attached to that. So how can you inspire the youth that's coming up behind you so they can understand how they connect with God and still reach their goals, all of those things that they're trying to aspire to do and be?
Okay, this is going to be a short answer because I speak to my children about this exact thing. I'll be wanting them to know that dreams are definitely possible. Dreams are 100% possible, obviously through Father God. But before that, you got to know what you are passionate about, or know what you're good at that most people around you aren't good at. Whatever your gift is, and then to bring it back to the biggest dream killer in the world is caring what other people thinks. And these young kids today, they want to follow trends and do things because it's cool and stuff like that. Do what you're good at, regardless of what you think other people your age are doing or what they think is cool, and stick to that and walk this thing out. And God got you. God is going to your gift will make room for you. God will multiply it. If that's what you're good at, that's what you love. Yes, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Yes, dreams are 100% possible, and you just gotta dedicate your gift to the Lord. Can I say something too about those gifts real fast? Because I didn't have a chance to. Okay, so yeah, this is this is just another part of the testimony. So I've been writing music for a long time, but there was a point where I was writing music just speaking on things like. Yeah,
journaling. You were doing journaling. That's what we call that in this field, journaling. Journaling turns into what you're doing. So keep it up.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I was journaling. I was going through a lot in life, and I was speaking on a whole bunch of things that wouldn't have done anybody no good by listening to what I was writing. And then I went through a grieving process, and God had brought it back to me, brought my gift back to me. And he brought it back to me as a way of therapy. This is no lie. Like I started writing. If you go over to my TikTok page at JV, what my name is at JV right there. My first video, when I started naming what my niche is, my hashtag is prayer rap, or hashtag prayer R&B, hashtag prayer rap, hashtag prayer R&B. But God brought my gift back to me in a way of therapy. And that's literally how it started. Me getting back into writing music is me dedicating my gift to the Lord and me expressing myself the correct way. And through that, and God knowing that I've been serious, and my consistency and my authenticity, which consistency and authenticity are I think those are very important things. And but I do think the authenticity part over the consistency is more necessary, but through that, God has definitely made room for me. He has opened up my mind. I'm able to express myself a little bit more freely on paper. I try to get my words out and articulate myself to where I could get my message out correctly. Sometimes my mind moves a little faster than my mouth, and but yeah, we here, and I'm just trying to walk it out. I'm trying my best not to get ahead of God. But just to answer your question again, that anything is possible through Father God in heaven. Dreams are possible to the youngins out here. The biggest dream killer in the world is caring what other people think. Find what you're good at, find what you're passionate about, and get to it, and be stick-to-itive.
Yeah, stick-to-itiveness is very important. Hey, JV, along those same lines, and I was just curious all along those lines, because I did have a question that came to my mind as you were saying that. There used to be a time, and I know that Dr. Diamond is going to know where I'm going with this and everything, where a number of rappers, and some of them even went on to fame, were singing about things that they didn't necessarily know about or live the life of and everything like that. And they weren't necessarily being authentic. We know that there are a number of gangster rappers, and some of them, if you threw them in with a bunch of Crips and Bloods, they would be in serious trouble. Let's be very honest, and all along those lines, because they were just and everything like that. So I was wondering if that is some of what you are talking about, because I do know that it was popular for kids to write about that kind of lifestyle because it was quote unquote hip and cool and everything like that, but they may not have been able to survive in that background. So I was just wondering, is that what you were alluding to?
Something in that aspect. Something in that aspect. I wasn't really thinking too much on those lines, but with the authenticity part. But you know, I feel like more people want to see like the raw side of you, and they don't want to hear so much of they don't want somebody that can just preach about it. They want somebody that has been through it, you know,
Right.
that can really, you know, resonate with what you got with what you got going on. So yeah, that's more so what I meant, but that's definitely a great point what you got going on, you know, because there's some people, I mean, I guess it's entertainment out here. You know, there's some people that we see on TV and all of that. They're nothing like what the image that they put out there, you know, and don't know nothing about it, you know. So yeah, you know, I think the world that we are in today, and God is using different ways to bring people to him nowadays. And yeah, man, some people, you know, just resonate more with a person that they see actually walking it out, not just talking about it, you know.
And that's
So
where I
yeah,
was
you
going.
know.
Yeah, that's where I was even going with the TikTok element and everything. Because as Toya was telling me about you and telling the rest of us about you as well, it seems that you have had a tremendous amount of success on a platform that a lot of people use, which is TikTok, particularly a lot of our young people and everything like that. I've told and mentioned in the butterfly room a couple of times that I've got 2 nephews, no kids of my own, but they are high school age, and one of them is about to go off to college and everything. But I know that they are definitely watching TikTok and watching a lot of the video games and everything like that. So is that the reason that you went to that platform, and how are you using that platform to be successful? Because when Toy was telling me about you, it seems like you've got a decent amount of hits on TikTok, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, okay. So if I'm being honest, the one reason why I kind of went to TikTok was because what I felt like God was blessing me with. I just felt like, you know, if I was posted to my Facebook, this was back when I first started. Nowadays, you know, I'm walking it out. But when I first started doing what I was doing and dedicating myself to the Lord, the people, Facebook and Instagram are more so people that I'm right next to, people that I live in the town of, and people that's still gonna have this image of what I used to be back in the day. You know, TikTok gave me a chance to kind of build myself up from the flow up, you know, and just through that, through me being consistent and expressing myself, it opened so many doors for me, you know. So that was really the main reason why I started on TikTok. But now what's in my heart now, I'm starting to put myself more out there on Instagram, on Facebook, you know, because I'm in a headspace now. I don't, you know, not that I don't care what people think, but I know what God says to me. It matters more than what you think of me, you know what I mean? And what you thought of me is irrelevant, you know what I mean? Just check my walk, you know what I mean? I'm walking this thing out, see where I've been, see where I'm going. This ain't something that I'm just talking about, you know what I mean? I'm walking this thing out. So yeah, on TikTok, started posting consistently, and just from me posting consistently, I had got an offer to host on a platform, which was nowadays we say the platform across the street, but you know, shout out to him. The old platform that we started, we built it up to about 7,000 followers in about 3 months. Was Open Mic Talent Unplugged, and again, shout out to the big bro Marasi, that he was the owner of that page. But then me and another host offered there, or 2 other hosts offered there, you know, the way that he was trying to do things, it just didn't resonate with us and with what I know in my heart and my beliefs. So we started our own platform. It's like an open mic talent, or it's like an open mic thing where you can sing, rap, do poetry, spoken word, words of encouragement. You could beatbox, play an instrument. You can slide through and give a testimony, speak some life into life, words of encouragement. All of that. It's just an open space for us to you know, for people to come and express themselves through one of those routes. And we started our own platform called Verse and Vision Live. You know what I mean? I throw up my VVL, you know, like that. And yeah, Verse and Vision Live. And yeah, we came together, and it's turning out better than we expect. But we do know that, you know, as far as hosting a platform like that, every day is not going to be the same. As you all probably know, as hosting something, every day is not going to be the same. And some days are a little heavier than others, especially when you're trying to host and pour yourself out. You know, sometimes you need a little mental redo when you're pouring yourself out like that and speaking life into people. Some people don't understand it, but You know, yes, my career has changed. The truck driving thing, it started to take a lot of my time up. But, you know, I'm finding a healthy balance with everything, you know, and this is just God bringing everything together for me. And he is working everything out better than I expect. Like I said, you guys gonna hear me say a few things over and over, but it's because I stand on these things, really, you know, just finding a healthy balance and, you know, keeping Father God at the forefront of everything. So, yeah, I hope that broke it down.
JB. And Brenda, just to let you know, Madam Butterfly, she comes from the teacher. She's a retired teacher. So, you know, we're all,
Okay.
she has all the pieces here. So Brenda, Madam Butterfly, I know you have something because this is one of the youth and eventually he's going to replace us. Younger generation.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I mean, you know how old I am, but, you know.
I know you're still younger decades, hon. I'm in my fourth decade.
Younger than me.
Okay, I received that. I received that.
I just want to encourage your soul. I'm going to share with you what I shared with Toya. Don't get caught up in the distractions, especially now. You're on a new track. You're enthusiastic. You want to share. There are still going to come distractions. They're going to be your dream killers, and they're going to come from where you can't even see. And sometimes the only way you can see them is when you're quiet. I've been saying not only to Toya, but to myself as well, I'm learning that no response is a response. Thank you, Michelle Obama. I don't always have to go. I don't always have to be there. Sometimes I just need to be with me, my Lord, or with others. I don't, and that can be a distraction when you always feel that you need to be a part of something else. It's like you said, you say, don't be concerned about what others think of you, but it's also an aura that those people put out. And sometimes it can be the closest people to you, your family.
Yes.
And it's sometimes hard to discern. But if you're quiet, it's like, I can just think this morning when I woke up here in Massachusetts. I'm in Massachusetts, the other end of the world, from North Carolina. And it was snowing profusely. And I usually don't sleep past 7 o'clock, but I woke up and I opened the shutters to the bedroom and it was still and it was quiet. But I could still hear the birds. And I've learned, thank God from my husband, to discern the different calls of the different birds. And I got up, I came downstairs, I made my coffee, and I sat in the stillness. I opened my deck doors, and I could just hear the snow falling. Yes, I could hear the snow falling in the stillness. And that's the kind of thing. There's so much going on. Snow falling is active, but there's a stillness in there that can propel you and calm you, whichever one you need. And the final thing I want to leave with you this time is that the Bible says that God says, I know the plans I have for you.
Amen.
And just let that resonate. That is Gus to move you on. Even when you feel like it's not working. Just say, I know he knows the plans he has. My life is planned out. And I might have to go through some tunnels and some bumps and some floods, but he has something on the other side. And like you said earlier, if you had gotten what you had back then, you wouldn't know what to do with it. And now is why you have what you have, because you are ready. So he knows the plans he has for you.
Yes.
Listen.
Hey, JV, I have a question about that too, because the network that the Butterfly Room is on also definitely Dr. Diamond's show is on it as well, on the couch, as is mine, the online dinner party, and all along those lines. So all three of them are on a network called Pod TV at some point or another. The show will air on Friday, and I'm one of the producers of that network, but I'm also their primary program manager, program director, for lack of a better term, and everything like that. But the founders of the network, Nick Palveda and Kim Calhoun, are very big and they come from the other side of society. They're not black and brown people. They're in the white society, but they're very big on fiscal literacy and everything like that. And I know that definitely Toya had mentioned that you're into day trading, and I think a lot of our kids don't do as much with finances as we used to. I remember as a kid having somewhat of an allowance, and I know other kids that had allowances and all along those lines. But I was just wondering, how did you get into day trading, and is that something that you are teaching your kids about? Because a lot of kids that are, I'm thinking your kids' age, which are probably teens or under, are not understanding the importance of finance. So how are you using day trading as a financial tool?
Okay. So, some people take the term day trading. Maybe that needs to be taken up out of their day trading, because, I just say I'm an investor. I understand investing, and I understand the compound effect. I'm not just out after, the day trading more so now when I think about it. And I'm not saying that other day traders are thinking like this, but when I was calling myself a day trader, I was more so trying to get rich overnight. I wanted the microwave blessings, what I mean, type of, or microwave money, whatever, if you understand what I'm saying. But the way that I got into it, I really don't know what brought it to me. I had came home from prison, and I was trying to look for work, and I think maybe like an ad had came across my phone. It's like on Robinhood. This was years ago. It's like Robinhood, which is like a beginner investing platform. So I had got into it, just buying stocks low and selling them high, buying shares. And God has sat me down, and I took it serious, and I started taking notes. I paid for classes, went to a couple conventions at hotels, and started taking it more serious. So no, I'm not a day trader. I trade. I do own a few shares of some things, but now I trade options. Option trading, which so I consider myself a professional trader because I feel like one of my skills is that I'm able to read a chart and tell you what are the possibilities. I mean, nothing's guaranteed with the market, especially with the way that they what's the word? The way that they manipulate. They can manipulate the market. But if you know how to read a chart, you know what the possibilities are. And yeah, I love it. It's really something that can change a lot of people's lives. They actually need to start teaching this in school. I don't know why they don't teach this in school. Like they want kids to grow up and be dependent on the government and stuff like that. I mean that from the bottom to the top of my heart. I don't know why they don't teach this in school, not just wait until they get into college. They teach this skill as the kids are growing up in school, like at least high school, 9th to 12th grade. I feel like that would change a lot of things,
Enable. They don't teach it because it would. I said it's not taught because it would enable everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Equally.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
The other communities, they teach their children about financial and fiscal awareness. We tend to teach our children to go to equip ourselves to be able to earn the money, but then how to multiply, how to create a financial legacy for our families. That hasn't been passed down through the generations. Generations after mine are now doing that, especially those of us who have attained something. And some ways, we do it by the way the ancestors do it, but some children don't get it at all. So that's why it's not taught in school. There's so many things that aren't taught in the schools because it would create equity, and that's not what's wanted right now. It hasn't been wanted for the last 250 years.
Thank you, Brenda, for that. Let me just piggyback real quick. My son took financial literacy as a freshman. So I remember when he got the schedule, and I was talking with the guidance counselor back then, and I said, well, why does he have this course? I said, he's a freshman. He struggled with the course. I'm making, flashcards and stuff. So it was a hard class. To make a long story short, so now he didn't even really know how to write a check. I said they were in the 9th grade. That should have been, in my opinion, in the 11th and the 12th grade. But at that time, it was more so a filler. And then I looked around. I said he didn't understand it. And it was brutal because he didn't understand what is this? What's the marginal line? What is this? So just a real story. And then now he'll be 25. And that's the difference of them giving a space holder. And if you do it on a collegiate level, you have to pay for it if you're a business major. So again, Madam Butterfly, yes, I don't want to say it's orchestrated, but we have to look at the reality versus the circumstances. And that's really what this is. When you understand and you have mental acuity visually, I'm a visual person, and sometimes my brain goes, but listening to you, you're tapped in. You're tapped in. So now we have to water other folks.
And I had a question along that same lines, and it's both for JV and Madam Butterfly and everything. Because the other thing I remember growing up in high school in the 70s and everything along those lines, because I graduated in 1980 and then went to college and graduated in 1984 and everything like that. But I do remember that there was an active effort to have vocational training. And I think me and Dr. Diamond and definitely Toya have talked about that as well. And there's not as much of that now and everything. So you literally could have, I don't remember there being truck driving courses, but I do remember there being courses in bricklaying and home economics and a number of other things you can make typing that you can make into a profession and all along those lines. And you had people that were on the vocational track and those that were on the college track, and there might have been other non-official tracks as well and everything like that. But I was just wondering what got you into trucking and y'all's thoughts around that, because I don't think that vocational education is encouraged as much as it used to be. And I was wondering what made you decide to be a truck driver.
Okay. So just real quick to go back to just a little tidbit about why they don't teach these type of things, not just even investing, and why, you know, with especially with the you know, our community, you know, it goes back to generational curses and bondage and things like that. You know, really it goes a lot deeper than, you know, than what a lot of people understand. And you know what we fighting up against, you know, it's just really it's just so deep, you know, the powers of principalities and, you know, knowing what the enemy is, it's deep, you know. So somebody got to do it. And once God opens your mind up to what you up against, you know, if he knows you're willing, and he ain't gonna open your mind up if he don't know that you're willing, you know what I mean? But yeah, it goes down to things that are deeper than what a lot of people don't even think are real. So, you know, those generational curses and the bondage and the spiritual warfare, it all connects all back to that. And, you know, with the world and who runs this world and all of that, you know. So but you know how I got into truck driving, a few of my uncles, three of my uncles, you know, they all got their CDLs, and, you know, I've been seeing them for a few years, you know, do their thing. And I was just, you know, working different 9-to-5s, doing my trading, surviving off of the stock market, working dead end jobs. And, you know, but in the midst, God knows that he knew that I needed a foundation, like a real foundation to stand on and build off of in a way that I can really pour into myself and pour into others in the correct way. These are all things that I prayed about. You know, I prayed about all of these things years ago. I mean this, you know, even having a steady career. But, you know, if I would have got this career years ago, I would have fumbled it and messed up my license, my CDL license a long time ago, just in the way that I thought, the way that I moved, the way that I handled things, my responsibilities and all of that. But, you know, yeah, just seeing my family into it, and, you know, them being able to live how they wanted to live. It was just something that God had opened the door for me about. And the job that I am at now is not the job where I started at. You know, I started at doing some crazy work, driving state to state, you know, dangerous. I really didn't like it. You know, I really didn't like the on the road life, you know, because for one, it was, I wasn't able to have a healthy balance, healthy home life, take care of my kids, take care of my dog, take care of home and everything. So, you know, I prayed that God blesses me with a job that I'm, you know, able to, you know, still do the things I love, still tend to the people that I love. And God then worked it out, you know, and it's turning out better than I expect. And it's going to keep going that way, you know what I mean? Keeping God at the forefront. And yeah, just walking this thing out, you know. I'm so great. I really am so grateful. I really am. I know I've said it 1,000 times on this platform, but, you know, I just want y'all to know that I am, man. I really am.
Thank you so much, JV. You blew my mind today. From us to do this in less than 24 hours. Again, we decided him to be on the show yesterday. It was what the Spirit said, and as you said, it falls into what we're saying. You have to go with that. Be still and know. I did a leadership position, and that was my motto: be still and know. Because when you are a cycle breaker, when you've gone through things, and as you said, you know what your circumstances are. And I know for a fact you have a big mama. And when you have a big mama, it's instilled in you, and now you're just basically executing what your life assignment is. And you know, just listening to everyone here, this is all designed. And today, just listening to you, sometimes we don't know what a person is thinking, despite your age. You are basically where we are, as Mark said. You know, in reference to the stock market, you found something. The generation which you're in, you're executing that. We heard of it. It was more so the parents did those things. You know, we wouldn't have dared. But again, I was saying that Chat GBT, and as a QA director on my full-time job, you can sell the writing samples. Everyone's using that. I use it for something, but again, with visual learning and applied learning, when you ask someone, you want to be able to execute what you're saying, not just submitting something and updating it and then putting it out into the world. So the only thing is, if you can know that, yes, it's there to sharpen you, however, but not to plagiarize. So that's something here. We heard exactly what you're saying. And then even now you were able to put it down in reference to the trading. Yes, you do know. So give yourself credit. You just said that you survived on that income. You are very humble, but we already know why you're humble. And I'm so grateful for you today. We're going to sit here and yes, thank you. But I want to just go into this life assignment. I wanted to basically get in and share this again. And everyone that has spoken, we all had a dream one day. That dream, sometimes we don't think it could be executed. However, sometimes it has to sit back. So I think we all concur and an agreement that you have to be ready for whatever your life assignment is. And today, that was what was on my spirit as we start out 2026. We all went through what we went through, and we have to sometimes not go down that rabbit hole, but that rabbit hole is there to remind you of what not to do. Learn to be silent. You know, again, last year, I'm not going to speak on it because I left everything at the altar. However, for this year, when I make things anew, what am I going to do? Writing the vision. As our pastor said, we both get fed at Second Baptist Church of Metuchen, 100 Durham Avenue. And I think that it's a foundation. So Dr. Diamond and I come from the mental health field. We have biopsychosocial assessments. And again, we've heard a lot of folks talk. And when you talk about your genogram, just because your genogram says this is what it's going to be, does not necessarily be there. We all have expectations. And I say to anyone that I mentor, you're supposed to be greater than me. And if a person can't accept for the folks under you to be greater, then that means we are subscribing to that crab syndrome that we've all heard about in life. And I thank Dr. Diamond for sharing that. Sister, sisterly, brother, brotherly. But I think that what's keeping the Black and brown community down is that we don't water each other and uplift. So all I know is everything that we said continuously, if you know better, you do better, and you will live better. So one of the things that I want to share today with that life assignment is I was thinking of a tool, because I like to lead. One of the things here is a tool as a group leader. You know, I heard a lot. We came and we did the round robin, but now we need something to go. So one of the things that was on my mind for today was the 12-step model. The 12-step model is there. And I'm thinking when earlier in my youth, I was in the 20s in my career. And as me being a facilitator, I had to prepare and I had to share that with the people. Then I received the information. But now that I am in my 4th decade of life, I'm now seeing the other side of what people said when they came in there. I called that the hospital, because it was a hospital, a behavioral center. And working with these folks who are legally inclined, as you know, you're forced to go there and you have to sign something. But sometimes people don't buy into it. So you have to figure out what it is. And one of the things that folks would say to me, well, I don't believe in a higher power. I said, someone who was a non-believer said, my higher power is my children. So whatever is that you need. And this model goes back to the 1950s in the Minnesota hospital. And what that model is, they're both clinical doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists, and non-clinical staff. What we're doing is centered on engaging the patients or the clients. And sometimes in life, with me, with this visual model that I'm thinking of, sometimes we think that because that's there, because of the title, that we can't embrace that learning. But everything is learning. So if you took it, this 12 steps, the first one, we admitted we're powerless over blank, that our lives have become unmanageable. So now we're going to apply that. What you had today was you were powerless of what it was, but that didn't define who you were. Then if you go through this, the 12th step, it says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to whatever it is that you need and to practice those principles in all our affairs, which would be our daily life. So the message for today, the tool for today is look into those models, self-help. Here, when we have platforms, this is a form of self-help. However, for people who may not have insurance, they don't know. In the Black and brown communities, when you go to some place like that, you're shunned. However, in the day and age of what we're dealing with and the government and how for us, we talk about politics here on all our platforms is once you vote on something, it used to be done. But now the leadership in the world, it means that they can come and just shake it up. So what we have to do, and as Dr. Diamond says on the couch, what we're doing here in the butterfly room and other platforms is provide you with tools that you can do and you can self-seek. And as you said, I go to my secret closet and that's 7 days. However, on average is 5. I got to do a little bit better because there's always a distraction, as Madam Butterfly, that says that on that day that I don't do my meditation, that's when things get rocky. And you said it today, JV, you prayed before this, you know? So the whole point is for us being believers or anyone that has believe in a higher power, just somebody that you believe in that knows that created you. As our pastor says, if the birds have a nest and the foxes have a hole, then what is it for humans? Human being is, the human part is our flesh. Being is our soul. So now we're here and our testimony is, as you said, watch Horton Hears a Who, and you see that little speck and everyone's there. And I look at those things for kids. And as you know, Madam Butterfly, you're a teacher, but these are complex ideas that were taught to get our minds going. However, again, we have to feed into our children even more at home. As Dr. Diamond said, her aunt told her what her expectation is. I'm working on my doctorate. However, other things were happening. But my uncle said while he was, suffering from cancer, baby Todd, you need to get your doctorate. I said, well, I don't want to pay for it anymore because I had loan forgiveness. I said, I got to figure out how to do it. So that's when the small steps come in. And today you exemplified all that. And you were just going, and I learned a little bit more about you. And I see you're like 3 pews in front of me in church, right? So, families break bread, but now just to see you evolve and morph, you are a guest, our first official guest on the Butterfly Room, episode 3. And today you blew my mind. You blew my mind today. And normally, customarily, as we roll down, we want to give you some parting words to share. But before then, if you have anything that you want to share with us, I know you said you're going to do another piece, but I am just ecstatic. And looking at you, you're glowing. And for you to be able to reach and speak to the folks about those private moments, but that's what a believer is. You have something that occurs to you, and that's what faith is. Believe in what you cannot see. So thank you again, JV, Gerard Van Dyke. And you doing it. And I wish you nothing but success. But again, we're going to turn it over to you before we go out. But share something, whatever's on your heart, and we're going to give you our words one by one. And we're going to just go around. We'll start with Mark and run it through after you speak. And bless us again. Thank you.
All right, so I'm not going to be too long-winded. I'm just going to say what's been sticking, and it's because I stand on this. That if you have a gift, I promise your gift will make room for you. But you got to keep your foot on your gift's neck, whatever that neck is in your life, and don't let that go over your head. You heard? Again, man, shout out to the big bro, Mark Lee. Shout out to you, Toya. Shout out to Miss Brenda. Shout out to Diamond. I appreciate all of y'all for having me. And God bless all of y'all endeavors. So yeah, I'll drop one last one real quick for you guys. And all of my joints are like I said, they're all short, but I do have an EP that's in the works. Progress is a true process, but God is working things out on his time. You know what I mean? So we walking this thing out. So eventually I will have some official works out there but everything is coming together, you know, as far as how to put music out there correctly. And you know, the BMI and the ASCAP, the ASCAP, yeah, just everything, you know. And yeah, like I said, I'm pouring into myself correctly, pouring into those that I love correctly, and you know, just putting myself out there, you know what I mean? And we walking and we building this thing up from the floor up, as you all are. So shout out to y'all. So I'm gonna drop this one. Yeah. Whoa. Put me in the first from last. Then he threw them sins to trash. And he made me new from past. Holy Spirit, fuel, get gas. You know he removed the yoke. Break free of them chains I choke. Stumble in my sleep, I'm woke. By my faith, I left the boat. Prosper every aspect. Cypher don't get gasket. Hate remove the maskets. And I'm tithing in a basket. Supplication, yes, I'm asking. In his presence, yes, I'm basking. Satan fill his wrath in a book, the teeth they gnashing. Whoa, and the road was narrow. Had to walk that line. Wine skins, it was fresh, and you know that it was fine. I was on a journey. God, he sent the sign. Help me jump that hurdle. Ain't no looking back behind. Whoa, cause I was hopeless. Now I'm focused and I'm boasting. Took communion on a Sunday, Jesus toasting. Gave me back on my ambition, renew my hope, and then he hit me with his spirit, and you know that it was potent. Whoa. Yeah, I was hopeless, now I'm focused and I'm boasting. Took communion on a Sunday, Jesus toasting. Yeah, just a little something, man, you know.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. Thank you, Mark. Set us off.
Yeah, that was real nice and everything like that. I know you're going to go around and get everybody's comments, but yeah, that was some real nice music. I was definitely appreciating it. I'm going to actually end because it seems called to me to bring this to thought, something that Brenda said earlier that we don't pay enough attention to, and all along those lines. But there is a lot of land that we used to have as Black and brown people and everything like that. And actually, I was talking to the state NAACP president who's from Wilmington. I believe that that's her title, but I know she's definitely with the NAACP and everything like that at the Kwanzaa celebration. And she was talking about how a lot of people were leaving the coast, even those that used to be fishermen and all along those lines. And I know that in my own family, one of my cousins has become the next generation to keep some family land in our family. So both of his parents passed, and the property that is owned by my family is owned by 4 sisters, my mother and her 3 sisters, but one of those sisters has passed away along with her husband. So that had been passed down to my cousin's family, and he is now owning what is now the family house and everything like that. So whether it's a family property, whether it's family timber, whether it's fisherman land, or a lot of those other things, to the point that Brenda made and everything, we've lost a lot of our land.
Yeah, I think it's froze a little bit.
So I'll leave it on that note and everything like that, to try to retain some of the land that we've got and keep the land, retain the land that we've got, and maybe even obtain some new land, because land is a very important commodity.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
Madam Butterfly.
Mark, you just touched on a lot when you said that. But to add on to that, you're talking about physical land, but there's also that land of family.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the world and our country and technology has evolved, we kind of don't do that anymore. I even found myself getting annoyed today because I was getting 18 texts at a shot anytime somebody did anything from my family with the Happy New Year. The reason I got annoyed was, and I said to my cousin, I said, you know what, when we used to gather up here for our family dinner, somebody would get on the phone, and then we call all the other people who were in the South, and then there were some people who were in the Midwest, but we talked to each other.
Yes.
And that by talking to each other, so many things are passed down. I mean, we gathered on Juneteenth in Oklahoma, and there were 4 generations there. We looked at it, and what was not missing was the fact of the stories. We were there to celebrate my 90-year-old uncle, but the 4th generation knew all the stories that were connected with him, and then we learned more stories. I ended up having my grandmother's bread bowl, but this is the land that we're missing. This is the land that we're taking it away from ourselves because we're not talking to each other as family. Some families are very dysfunctional. And to JV, if I can just share that with you, you have little ones, whatever stories your big mama has and pass on, good, bad, or indifferent, you can tweak it, pass it on, because there'll come a time when I hear it now. I don't know anybody beyond my mother, my father, my grandparents, and that's a sad legacy. I look at my own grandchildren, and eventually that's what they're going to say, because they don't even know my whole side of the family, and then they don't know their mothers as well, because she never connected, she never talked. And it's a generation. There are a couple of generations out there that only ask or talk when it suits their needs. So it's a little low, but keep that family land. Keep that family land. That's the other land.
That family land is important. Yeah, that family land is definitely important and everything like that. Because you were saying that, Brenda, I was thinking to myself a couple of things. One, I just saw a friend of mine whose granddaughter and his daughter were dancing and everything like that. So they were doing traditional African dance, but that's part of the Kwanzaa celebration and everything. And the granddaughter is almost as tall as the daughter. So there are 3 generations now, because Gerald is a spoken word poet and also a historian, and does a number of other things in his life. He's actually been, I think, once or twice on Dr. Diamond's show, husband show with me and everything like that some years back. But it was just amazing to see those people that are of that generation, that they've now got kids that are almost as tall as I am and everything like that. And I think I mentioned on this show and other shows that my nephews are now they're 16 and 17, and it'll be 17 and 18 in August of this year and everything. And in that same line, JV, one of the things that we do when we gather, I don't know about your family, but it's a Southern thing, or maybe it's a Midwestern thing also, but we do play our games. We play spinners, which is kind of like dominoes, and all along those lines. And there have been times that Scrabble was played as well. So there's definitely, we keep the young folks engaged by making sure that they're playing not just the video games. Video games have their place and they can be cool and everything, but playing some of the games that are more to what Brenda is saying, engaging with the mind and engaging with your family. So you're actually breaking bread and also having that fun rivalry and having that fun competition where you're also learning those life stories and those historical stories.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Diamond, I know she has some fire for us. She always does.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you think of me like that.
Because you calm me down. When I tell you, when we met, hey, and you brought me in, and that's what it is, because you're a true sister. And when I say that, we have similar stories. We started the same without a mother.
Yeah.
So my manuscripts are going to talk about that, and that's really where this is. It's watering and breakthrough. That's it.
It is. So JV, for you, continue to stand in your power, because once you find that you have it, it is very imperative that you stand in your power. This is something that I discuss a lot with a lot of my African American clients that I have, because sometimes you don't even know that you have power until somebody shows you you can have it and that you can stand in it. And, going back to financial literacy, right? That was taken from us a long time ago. When our folks was human trafficked over here, they couldn't, the power that they had, they came with power. There were kings and queens on those ships. But the thing is, when you want to keep a people at bay, suppress, because you know they're the chosen people. Of course, they're going to do that. They're going to keep us in ignorance because that's what they want us to do. We are God's people. We were always the chosen ones. We were the ones who started civilization. So you have to cut people off at the knees who stood in their power and know who they are, right? So knowledge is power. And that's something that we always, as a collective, we got to get back to. They learned how to break us down, and we continued with that. But then we had moments where we had Tulsa, Oak Creek, Rosewood. They was all functioning. So it shows you that we've had financial literacy, and it was passed on, but then they kept burning us down and killing us. So these are the things that they were doing. So when we come back full circle, we have to work, tap into our knowledge, tap into our power, tap into two things on my models, right? One is your mind, body, and spirit. Always keep that aligned. When one is out of line, the rest is going to go out of line. But once you pick them back in and you put them in alignment together, all you can do is go forward. My next motto is peace, love, and tranquility. I say this at the end of my show because you need peace, you need love, and you definitely need the tranquility, because you have to be tranquil at some point for you to meditate, for you to function, for you to focus, for you to move forward. So those are the jewels that I want to drop to you, because I am 53, so I don't know your age, but a lot of people don't believe that anyway. They like, yeah, whatever, when they look at me, but that's a whole different story. This is a lot of wisdom that I got from other people. A lot of my wisdom came from God as well, because when you have these epiphanies, that's not by happenstance. It's given to you. This is why you can regurgitate back out, because it's given to you. So when you hear, Toya saying these things, Toya, I appreciate you seeing my light, but my light was given to me. And this is why I can speak the way I can, because as a child, I didn't talk a lot. I was a very shy person. I would not stand up. I would not come to the front. But now I had to find my voice, and it was given to me. So now I have it. So you keep doing what you're doing, brother, and you keep on standing in your power. And I look forward to you having you on the couch with us once you're available. So thank you again for sharing piece of you with us today, and for the listeners that'll be coming back and listening to the Butterfly Room. Thank you again.
100%.
Thank you so much, friends of the room, Team Butterfly. And now you see now how things happen on purpose, right? So you know what? Yes, you said, Toya, are you playing with me? I said, no. The spirit spoke to me. And as Dr. Diamond said, when you're a cycle breaker, sometimes you need that push for someone to tell you you're not going to be anything. Because again, when you're chosen, that's why we say your life is assignment. No one can take that from you. So again, preparation. This is the year of manifestation. As our pastor, Robert L. Peterson III, said to us at Watch Night Service, that now we can expect, write the vision, make it plain. So your vision, everyone here had a vision. And here today, you were the honoree for this call. So now you were able to share that. And now, because we have different decades represented here. I'm just looking at here. I can see, we're not going to tell our age, but anyone, I love my visual math. This is a linear plot. It's a linear plot. And so right now, when you see that, you can't unsee it. And that's once you have seen it, and now you speak up. And like I said, everyone here helped me to open my voice, because I had one and in my power. And sometimes people try to shrink your power. But now what I'm saying now is reality is reality. And sometimes our circumstances affect our reality. But when people don't want you to speak, they don't want to expose things. And that's something that I think that with families, there's secrets, there's a lot of stuff going on. However, sometimes we're blinded to it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. But now once you have those tools, you're not going to react, you're going to respond. So that's what my closing words is to, because I know you personally. And to see you more, and for you to open your mouth and see, you were working in silence, as the Madam Butterfly said. So everything here is touching everything that we said. And we thank you today for coming to the room. And once this airs, you're gonna go. This will be on your Vita of where you went, and then you'll be on the couch and wherever else this goes. But now you have a relationship, because here, this is what this is: a platform that was destined to fall in your lap. And I can say that wholeheartedly because I experienced it myself, and it blew my mind. It says the higher power, the Father God that I serve, will blow my mind. Be still and know, and continue. And I'm wishing you continued blessings. And I'm glad you were available today to meet with us in the butterfly room. Now, Mark, I don't know if you have any commercials or anything, but I know you sent something. Are you able to play that here? But I'm gonna use that in my promo, I think, when I post it.
Just use that in the promo and everything like that. And we'll probably go out maybe with the song, but we got commercials and we've got other things that we can get going to get us on out of here and everything along those lines. But I'll get ready to pull people off. But yeah, this has been a
Friday at 8. We're Fridays at 8. Dr. Diamond is next week at 11 a.m. Check us out. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Check out the various shows. You can also check out the online dinner party, which is every Wednesday at 4:00 p.m. And yes, you are invited, JV, to be in on that as well. So I have to get with you because I know you've got a very busy schedule and all along those lines. So we'll have that time and all in that space.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Can I say something? So, that busy thing, me saying that I'm not available. It's not that. Don't take it in like a prideful way or nothing like that. I'm still trying to find just a healthy balance. You guys, hit me up. I would definitely, make time. So it's not, it's not that I'm crazy busy, but some days are just longer than others. When I get home from work and getting settled in. So.
Because you driving.
I'm willing.
That's why I said that. So you cannot drive and do a podcast. So that's all I'm saying. That's what I mean. So come first. So when you get scheduled, but thank you.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know though. I'm available.
All right. Well, I'll definitely, if I reach out to you and everything like that, I think that I'll close out with one that I've used on my show in a couple of times, and I'll also play the video as well, but I'll pull us all off. But this is one that we can all answer before I play the video and everything along those lines. And it comes to something we've talked about. We've talked about education. We've talked about the importance of education and the different types of education. But sometimes we forget a very important part of education. And this is a gentleman, ironically, Brenda, from Oklahoma as well, that created a program that honors educators, but also education support staff and all along those lines. So he's honoring both the teachers, but he's also honoring like the guidance counselors, the janitor, the cafeteria worker, a number of the other people that are there in the school environment. So before I play it, I didn't know if Brenda or yourself, Latoya, or others had any thought about the importance of education to your own lives, and JV might be wanting to cover the importance of maybe a teacher in his own life, because this is a gentleman that several years ago created this award that is honoring the teachers of the community, but also their support staff.
Well, I'm gonna let Madam Butterfly answer that. So she's the education expert.
I just come from a line of hardworking people and family. A little bit background: my mother was from a family of 17. Grandfather was a sharecropper. I learned through searching out my father's side of the family. I was always told that my father was a driver in his early years, and then he became a machinist and worked in the factory. Whatever skills he had, he honed them. But the one thing I found out was that he was a master carpenter. But what really blew my mind was that my father never graduated high school. But he was brilliant. You look at a space and say, I want a cabinet with this kind of doors and that. The other, he'd pull out a ruler, and within a week you'd have it. And he said, I didn't finish school, but you will finish school and you will go on no matter what. And I remember times that my dad took on extra carpentering jobs in the summer to make sure that I could finish my semester in college. So and on the other side of the family, the older siblings helped the younger siblings to go to school. However, and from the last 6 siblings were all college educated. And I look back on my life now, I could have been a Howard alum because I had the legacy there. And I could have been a Shaw alum because I had the legacy there, but I went somewhere else. And education is important in all forms. It comes from everywhere. I went to a school where we used to joke that people that look like myself, we were like a bar of ivory soap. The school was 99, 44, 100% pure. And someone said to me, well, why are you going to a school like that when you could have gone to, HBCU, which they were? And I said, or even Lincoln University. I said, well, if you want to play the game, you have to know the rules. And my people can't teach me the rules to play the game in their world. And it's important. If you want to succeed in the game, I won't say play in, succeed in the game, learn the rules. And then use the rules the way we know we can use the rules. Because it's, we apply them hood style and we can get over and get further than they think by just playing the rules. I've told Toya, sometimes you have to let them think that you don't know. Not play dumb, but let them think that you don't know. And then just go ahead and play it by their rules. That's the education from me. Learn it from anywhere you can get it.
Yes.
Agreed. And on that note, Toya, I'm going to play this particular video and we'll get ready to get on out of here unless JV's got a particular teacher that he wants to shout out or something along those lines. But other than that,
I'm going to shout, I had a Catholic school education, and that was my mother's dying wish because she knew something in me before then. And it, again, learning how to play the game. And I went where I went with the most aid, and it worked out. I went to a Catholic university. After that, Seton Hall, Pirates. Got my master's from Rutgers at 23. Now the doctorate, I was a single mom by default. So that kind of changed things, but I'm still going to get that off my bucket list. So life happens. And I think now I know more so what to do. So again, in order to play the game, you need to get whatever it is. And my path was based on financial. I didn't want to be in debt. So that's where it was. I got all my acceptances. I went with the school that gave me the most aid.
That makes sense and everything. I'm not going to hold that against you, the fact that you went to Seton Hall, especially since y'all just finished beating my Marquette team after we had been winning the game, most of the game and everything like that. So I won't hold that against you with everything along those lines. But having a great year this year, but that's all right. Shaka will recover at some point or another, but that's all right.
Sorry.
That's all right. I know you're not really sorry. Don't even try to pretend it. JV, you got any teachers you want to give a shout out, and then I'll play this video and get us all out of here.
No, none specifically, but shout out to all the teachers. They're definitely very necessary. Shout out to the teachers that have an open ear. Shout out to everybody that has an open ear, especially for the youth, but yes, a teacher's job is definitely something that is necessary. I deliver to schools daily, and I deal with a lot of teachers, principals, counselors, and things like that. So, shout out and all love to all the teachers that are doing their job and holding it down.
Yeah, teachers and their support staff, they are important. So let's check out this announcement and we'll get ready to get on out of here totally and everything like that. So this has been a fun show. Toya, your third episode and a good episode. So let's get on out of here.
Bye-bye, everybody. Peace and love.
I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop. I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop.
I want to thank everyone for coming to the 2020 TAF Awards. This was a show like no other, people. This is the Grammys for dignitaries, educators, and support staff around the state of Oklahoma and worldwide. We cannot do this without the support of the people. So we thank you, I thank you for being such a dedicated supporter to this movement for the Teachers Appreciation Foundation. I thank you.
I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop.
It's time for Bible or Babble. Get
gather round for your new favorite show. If you here to work, show 'em what you know. Let's go. Bible, or Babel. It's Bible. Let's go. Calling every saint, we gon' put you to the test. See who know that B.I.B. a little bitch. Bible, or Babel. It's Bible. Let's go.
Are you looking for money-saving strategies for your business and personal finances? Are you tired of working hard every day with little or nothing to show for it? Contact Prosperity Financial Services, LLC right now for your free financial consultation. Call now to reserve yours today, 804-349-8600, 804-349-8600.